A long time ago, we left our true home. And since then, we've been wandering. We've suffered, we've fallen, we've gotten back up, and we never gave up. And that's what brings us here today. We are at a crossroads in our own lives and as a collective, where some big choices need to be made and some actions need to be taken to balance the scales of the transformation taking place on planet Earth. The shifts occurring are massive, and the choice is ours as to whether we will become beacons of light or fall in with the herd mentality and be led to the slaughter of our own demise. It may feel like a lot is hitting you right now, even if it's just your feelings, depression, anxiety, stress. There's a reason for this. It may feel that people turn on you more than usual, that strange things have been happening because of the changes in the sound current, the changes in the sound the earth is making, the changes in our bodies because of this. Not everyone can hold the energy or adapt. But in our body, the Kundalini energy is connected to the core of this planet. And our body has the capacity to adapt and realign itself for the quickening so that we can be victorious and enter through the portal to the memory, remembering who we really are, and going home. We suffer because we don't remember, but a little spark inside of us does. We remember the love. We remember God. We remember who we are. But the pain of knowing how far away from that we feel, and all the sewage of our karma and ancestral karma in the way, makes us panic and seek comfort, or seek fast solutions, quick fixes to something that's been going on for so long. But you know how it is at the end of every race. You have to give it all that you've got. If we could just celebrate God with every breath, we wouldn't have to feel the pain of separation. But life and heaviness gets in the way, and we feel discouraged and uninspired, and we get weighed down by the gravity of Saturn. Saturn could also be called 666. And what is that? What is the devil? The devil is that which weighs us down in inertia and darkness and decay. But the devil is synonymous with God because it is the flip side of the light. And here on earth, in duality, there's always a flip side. And what achieving union means is to honor the flip side and integrate it into our being. To lift up the darkness, to lift up our darkness into the light of the essence of what we are. In the world today, we need to learn to appreciate the essence, to dig deep for the essence, because things have gotten trashed out. People betray us. Spiritual teachers, we find out, have done awful, horrible things. India is covered with trash and prostitution and homelessness. However, inside of the teachings or the teacher or inside of India is the ever pure essence and light. And in the times we are living in, we are forced to either go without the essence and act as if it never was and continue to feel the yearning that we can't fulfill, or we can become subtle enough to connect with that essence so that we don't need to live a life of futility and disappointment and yearning for something that we can't have, because we can have it here and now. The light is always there, however obscured, in our lives, in ourselves, and in everybody. Everything that you see and everybody that you know, all the people that hurt you and do things to you, and you want to react. They are you. We are all of the same being. The only thing that will solve the division and the strife and the conflict and the pain is love. But how do we get to that place of love and remain in that place of love? First and foremost, for ourselves. And how do we stay connected with the appreciation for ourselves? Not for the judgment we give ourselves every day we miss the mark. Not for the way we judge how we haven't accomplished this or that. Not for the way we've compared ourselves to others, but for the essence of who we are. For the depth with which we've taken ourselves in this lifetime. For what we were willing to do to get back home to the light of God. The suffering in your life is because of what you were willing to do. What you were willing to confront about yourself so that you could go back home to the truth. And not pretend, and not in theory, and not in thought, but for real. The truth of the God within us and that light all around us. That we on planet Earth, living through these senses in duality, bound by time and bound by Saturn, have forgotten and have focused on other things to survive. We get caught in fight and flight to survive gravity. We fear death. We fear growing old. We try to hide our gray hair or our wrinkles. We think we're worthless because we've passed the expiration date, or we don't have enough money or fame or fortune. But Saturn brings us this self-doubt. Saturn brings us this gravity. Saturn rubs it in our face what a failure we are, only because it's to really make us take a stand for the truth we know. That is not real or true, because the flip side of Saturn is the yogi. When you have mastered Saturn, you have mastered human life. There is no liberation without the blessing of Saturn, because in order to deal with the karma that is piled on us, we must learn the qualities that receive the blessings of Saturn. And when we learn those qualities, we have the gravitas, or the presence, the still presence, to be a presence of light in our lives and in the lives of others. And what are those qualities of Saturn? Commitment, perseverance, taking responsibility, dedication, loyalty, being trustworthy, being on time. Taking responsibility, being on time. Because when we develop those qualities, we can perfect what we came here to perfect, which is the unique vessel of God's grace that we are. And perfecting means total freedom to move in the light of God in our own unique and creative way. And when we feel that connection and that blessing of Saturn, and when we've done the work, and when we face the truth about ourselves, and when we were totally honest about the ways we have dropped the ball, when we just face it and stop running, everything changes in that moment. But then after we face it and stop running, we need to take the steps and take the responsibility and take charge of the direction we're going. And while we need to live a life of let go and let God, we also need to take charge of what we know to be true about our daily activities, our personal responsibilities, and our routine. Because perfecting ourselves means creating clarity and streamlining our life and simplifying and getting ourselves in a place where we can be self-sustaining, in a spiritual way, emotionally self-sustaining, being an asset in the lives of others because we're not so needy and expecting people to take away our problems, and materially sustaining, ideally getting ourselves in a position where we can feed ourselves, where we can have the water and the power that we need to live a simple self-sustaining life on planet Earth to the best of our ability. Learning to chant the name of God tunes you into who you really are. And pick a simple name. It doesn't matter. Whatever name appeals to you, repeating the name of God will remind you of who you are and open your heart and bring you back to your essence. Your essence is divine, and all the suffering and all the feelings of being misplaced or alone or isolated or is just not enough. It's because we know where we come from deep in our soul. And we're stuck down here in the lower energy. And when we lift ourselves up into the higher heart chakra, higher centers, this is why they say the Pure Land is here and now. Because we can feel the connection here and now, because there is no time and space separating us from the home that we left. But we feel it because we're limited in the human form. And that is why they say a human life is so desirable, because we can make profound and rapid spiritual progress because of how hard it is, because of how emotionally challenged we are. And when we talk about being a spiritual warrior, this is about a battle with our own delusion, with our own self-deception. This is about a battle of the light over the dark. And what wins the war? Why was the Bhagavad Gita all about a war? What wins the war? What brings the two opposing forces together? Love. True love. Clear and pure love will solve every problem and lead us in the right direction, because we will be tuned into the truth of God. But getting to the purity of that love, that unattached, pure, divine, unassuming, all-knowing love, takes clearing ourselves on a daily basis with every choice we make. Is that how bad do you want to remember yourself? How bad do you want to feel at home again? How bad do you want to know the truth of who you actually are? Not just another body born to die on planet Earth and make a name for yourself while you're here and leave some money to your grandchildren or children or a house. It's so much more. The myth of your life, the power of your life, the beauty of your specific life is something that needs to be celebrated, because God is living through you. The song is you. Chanting the name of God will tune you into the light, breathing in the light, feeling your spine to be a river of light, feeling the light all around you, and the portal will open. We are in the time of the great opening. But the cataclysmic events that lead to that time go with any transformation, whether in our individual lives or as a collective. And right now, many rivers are clashing. So get straight with yourself and realize that now is a great opportunity. This is why everything feels like it's coming down so hard on you. Because lift yourself up, cast off the darkness and the shackles, and remember that you are the light of God.